Hey, everyone. Welcome back. If you're returning, if you're new, welcome. Welcome to our, this will be our, it may not be the final listening live stream of the year, but it's going to be the final Friday listening live stream of the year. I appreciate everyone who's participated and who is here today, despite the fact that I had to change up the time today just because I had something else I have to handle later today. If you're new to this, and if you're new to my channel, my name is Josh Carney. But most people know me on YouTube as Music Tech Help Guy. Every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we do these listening live streams. Today, like I said, we had to change the time a bit. If you want to get in on this and if you want to upload your track and have me listen to it, I'm going to drop the link to do that in the chat below, or in the chat here. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's paste that in the chat. So essentially, to submit your track, you just have to sign up for a free Boombox account at boombox.io. And then you can upload your track to the weekly folder. The folder is usually different each week, but I wanted to catch up on some of the ones we missed last week. So I just used the same folder for this week. And then if you're interested in getting in on a pro or premium Boombox plan, you can use my... Let's get over here. There we go. You can use my promo link, which I'll also paste below. This is an affiliate link as well, so I get a bit of a kickback on that. So not only does it get you access to a bunch of other more advanced and pro and premium features, it also helps support the channel. So if you sign up for a pro or premium account, thank you very much for that support. But a pro account is not necessary for the stream. You can do everything with a free account. So, okay, let's jump right into this week's songs. And I hope everyone had a great holiday, by the way. I did as well. I think I'm now a pre-diabetic after all of the horrible food I ate over the past week. So I don't know, January 1, I'll be getting back into a more healthier routine and trying to exercise more and all that good stuff. I will have another stream on New Year's Eve. I'm not 100% sure on the time yet. It's probably not going to be overnight. Like, it's not going to go over into the new year. It'll be probably in the afternoon sometime, maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock. Just chatting it up, talking about some things, talking about life and what's coming for the channel in 2025. And then if I have any other songs that we don't get to, I'll kind of come back to those and listen to those. There won't be like a new upload folder for that stream. It'll just be a sort of something a little more casual. So, okay, cool. Let's jump right into this. So last week, we stopped at about, I think we stopped here. Let's see. I heard. Let me go check the chat real quick. North End. Keep 'em cold. Okay, so we'll start with North End. Keep 'em cold and work our way down. Some of these we've already listened to as well. So let's. Yeah, we should be able to get through all these today. So let's jump up to Keep 'em cold. And this is by Dan Burke and North End Entertainment. Let's give it a listen.
Don't sweat in the shade, sweet pet. Feeling paid with me. Letting go, no net needed, cause we flow. And the sun's still blazing, so we keep them cold. Yeah, keep them cold. Pressure rise, sometimes you gotta close your eyes. Take a gulp, this liquid gonna change your perspective. No more do or die. See the way we gon' fly up off the road, up off the road. She knows how to settle down, brindle and bow. She don't speak, but she teach me about keeping perspective on what comes and goes. No memories, soften the blows and keep them cold. Yeah, keep them cold. Don't sweat in the shade, sweet pet. Feeling paid with me. Letting go, no net needed, cause we flow. And the sun's still blazing, so we keep them cold. Yeah, keep them cold. Peace of mind, don't overstimulate the brain or waste your precious time trying to please them all. Best to keep it all in perspective. Main objective is to heed the call. That natural flow, it's the way we keep them cold. We keep them cold. Don't sweat in the shade, sweet pet. Feeling paid with me. Letting go. Needed, cause we flow. And the sun's still blazing, so we keep them cold. Yeah, keep them cold. We keep them cold. Yeah, keep them cold.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really slick groove. I love all the harmonies and layers. The arrangement's great. The mix is pretty much spot on. I think my only critique, and again, this is just my ear, this is the way I'm hearing it on my end, I want to hear the bass a little bit more, just a touch. And I've said this before, but if you're making mix changes of less than 3 dB, most of the time, most people aren't going to be able to even hear that or sense it. But I'd pull the bass up like 3 dB. I'd pull the vocal up maybe just 1 dB just to make it a little bit hotter. But otherwise, like, the mix is really good. I mean, obviously, this is a already released track, so you're not going to be able to make those changes. But that's what I would do. But otherwise, the balance is spot on. The arrangement's great. Really good work here. Awesome. Let's move on. Let's go to... let's see, we listened to that one already. And then I think we got down to that one we listened to already. Okay. And then I know OnlyFan we listened to last week. Honey we listened to last week. And then Darth Jack, if you're in the chat, let me know. We'll listen to your second one, but otherwise I'm going to move on. The Snow Claps. or the slow claps, sorry. The slow claps, Sekiya remix 4-2. This song is a work in progress, but overall arrangement-wise, the band has been playing it for a while live. I'm mainly concerned about fixing the sound production, though it is possible to change the ambient lead guitar and tonal stuff and backing vocals if needed. I just can't change the drums or rhythm guitar. Basically, we'll be sending this to a pro mixer mastering engineer eventually, but trying to get it right before then. And then main vocals will be re-recorded, and there's a glitch at 4:21. Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
Let's all raise a glass as the sun goes down in Sekiya. No good party last. Tonight this one's reserved for you. Let's all raise them high as we celebrate your life. No good party last. This one's gonna last all night. Party on, Sekiya. Party on, Sekiya will party on. You're still living on in your smiling frame photographs. Thank you for your smile. Those awkward times you made us laugh. Party on, Sekiya.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little break here. The singer sounds really good. I would say maybe pull back the reverb on the vocals a little bit and and maybe even pull up the volume of the vocalist a little bit more. But the main thing I'm hearing is that just in general, just about everything in the mix sounds a little muffled to my ears. Maybe other than the drums. Like I would pull up the top end in almost everything except for the drums. It just sounds a little muffled to me, and the way you can sort of bring out details is with your top end, you know. I think it'll add some more character to the voice as well, because with all that reverb and with the top end kind of, you're being like maybe a little too safe in the top end, is what I'm saying. Now, you did say you're going to be sending this to a mixing or mastering engineer. I think your process is going to need to be completely different depending on whether you send to a mixing engineer versus a mastering engineer. If you send it to a mixing engineer, you're going to want to send them as much dry material as possible. Like, get rid of, don't bake the reverbs into the tracks you send the mixing engineer, because they're going to want to do their own thing with it. So if you're going to send it to a mixing engineer, I would honestly just say, take it the way it is and send it to them and let them do their thing. If you're sending it to a mastering engineer, then yeah, you're going to need to make some more mix tweaks, including what I had just said. Pull up the top end a little bit. I think the bass could even come up a little bit as well. Yeah, like the kick drum is coming through more in the sub than the bass guitar is.
Sekiya will party on. Let's all raise a glass as the sun goes down in Sekiya. No good party lasts. Tonight this one's reserved for you.
Cool. You know, the thing here is, I can tell you've got a good recording, you've got a good performance. I just think, yeah, you need some mix changes, and like the production's not bad or anything. It just, everything sounds a little muffled to my ear. I want to hear a little bit more presence. And I think it'll, like I said, it'll bring out the details of lots of many of the instruments and the voice. And I dial back some of the reverb too. Just, it sounds a little too ambient to me, you know, and I love ambience, don't get me wrong, but like, it just sounds like I want to hear the natural character of the instruments and your voice a little bit more. And then just from like an arrangement or like a composition critique, I think this whole ending section here, this final chorus, I think it drags a little bit. You know, the song's 7 minutes long. So I'm not saying you can't have a 7-minute long song, but I don't know. I would kind of get to that intro here like 1 or 2 repetitions sooner. Because like the way I look at it is like, okay, we have intro, verse, chorus, bridge, and then we have a final chorus. But then the outro is like almost the same. It's like 1/3 of the song. So just personally, you know, if you want to do like an extended cut and then like a radio cut, I think that might be helpful, you know. Do like a radio cut where you repeat the final chorus one more time and then jump right into the outro and get there a little bit sooner. So, but otherwise, I mean, look, the production, like the recordings are good and the performance is good, which is more that I can say for a lot of songs I've mixed as well. So if you send that over to a mixing engineer, I don't think they're going to have any problem with it. And if you're sending it over to a mastering engineer, yeah, try to bring out some of the details a little bit more before you send it over to them. Okay, let's jump down to, and apologies if I'm like Blinky McGee over here. I need new contacts. My contacts I don't like this brand. Let's see. Okay, Quazar level 9, final 3 from Willow. Let's give it a listen. You know, Will, I think we listened to this one before at one point. Maybe this is your revision, or maybe you submitted one that's got that similar kind of grimy bass vibe. I really like it. I really like the tone of that bass. Is that a bass or is that like something else? I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, Will says it is an electric guitar into a synthesizer with an octaver. Okay, cool. Have you ever played around with like baritone guitars or like I just bought a like a used, what is it? It's a 7-string Agile, but it's a 30-inch scale guitar, so it's like, 4 or 5 inches longer than a normal guitar. I did make my own baritone guitar. I bought like I took like a cheap Telecaster, and then I had a company make a custom neck for it that was like 28 inches long. And I'm not sure what tuning you're in, but like at least with my 7-string baritone, that's a 30-incher. I mean, I can tune a full octave lower. I can literally go down into the bass range, and I kind of like that tone, like that low, but I guess that's more for like, genty metal stuff. This isn't that, this is more like this is more groovy. So I do like that. I think that's really cool. I just what I was thinking to myself is I almost wonder if you took that guitar synthesizer and blended it with like a baritone guitar or something. But I mean, that's not a complaint. I think it sounds really awesome. Really, I think you're almost there with this track. My only real like mix critique is that the drums sound a little stuffy. And I bet if you solo that drum bus, I guarantee that those drums sound amazing. I bet they're like super fat and big sounding. But I think just because of the nature of the track, because of that grimy, distorted bass, I think that the drums are having a hard, like you're having two, like you got two things going at, it's in standard. Okay. So you're dropping down to, with the bass pedal, you're dropping down an octave. Okay. It's still in standard. Yeah. It would be bass standard then. Yeah, it's almost like the two are fighting a little bit. The drums and the bass, the guitar are fighting a little bit. I almost wonder if you just added a little bit more top end air to the drums, just to bring out the transients and the clarity a bit more. And I would, I would maybe pull back the compression on your drum bus a little bit, or if you're using like parallel compression, like maybe do a little bit more of the dry. Personally, I would also like to hear like a vocal on it, but yeah, cool stuff. All right, let's keep going here. Let's go to Hazel Hawley, Off Guard. Hazel Halley. Oh, that's the artist. Okay, Off Guard, mastered. All right, let's give this a listen.
You've got my attention now. What do you want? 'Cause I've been so crazy. Think about who you are, baby. What could I do?
one thing I'm hearing, like first and foremost, you have a really great voice. I get that the reverb and the ambience is sort of part of the design of the track. I would still pull back your reverb a little bit and let your natural voice come through a bit more. One criticism I have, just from like a compositional standpoint, I do like the sort of kind of broken, beat that doesn't make sense at first and then it kind of comes together. But I don't think that needs to be throughout the entire track. I would say somewhere in here, I would settle on a beat that is not so disjointed, like it, or maybe just use that in the verses. But then when you get to the choruses, lay down a beat that's like that really solidifies where the downbeat is and where, it's not that all music has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, but I just think that maybe somewhere in here you might lose some people just because the beat is kind of a little disjointed. That's just like a compositional thing that I'm hearing. Maybe we get there up here, but I would maybe get to that a little bit sooner.
I can't prove it, so instead I'm avenging your mess in my own bed. I get lost in my head, I get high and fall down. I tumble down a deep dark spiral, worlds apart yet still I pray. I'll stay in my lane and you'll stay in yours. It's not worth it, trapped in the gaze of every single day. Deep breath in, and a deep breath out.
Yeah. Also, just when you bounce the final version, make sure to leave yourself a reverb tail for that outro to come off. So a couple things, like in terms of your vocal and like the vibe, I think it's like really great. I think you need to let your natural vocal come through more. The drums definitely need some work. Kind of what I was saying before is you do by the end here, you get to like a solid beat and groove, but it takes so long to get to that. I think you're going to lose people. So I would get to that much sooner. I would maybe just do the disjointed sort of broken beat thing up through the first verse and then hit the beat and then just go with it. And then if you want to do something different later, maybe take it down here or maybe drop the drums 2/3 of the way through and make sort of kind of like a bridge section. Also, I think the outro, you could cut that in half. Yeah, I would cut that outro in half. Not that it really matters. It's just like you want someone to listen to the entire song and you don't want them to be like, okay, cool track. The outro drags on. You know what I mean? It's like the original version of Layla by Eric Clapton, you know what I mean? Like the original version, like it's like the song is great, the production on that song is garbage, but the outro goes on and on and on and on, and it really doesn't need to. So it's like when I don't listen to that song because the outro's too long. Obviously this is nothing like Layla, but I just think the outro could be cut in half. But yeah, main thing is get the groove solidified somewhere in here, rather than over here. So otherwise, really, really unique and really interesting melodic writing as well. So, okay. This is from Sammy Issues, Junk But Improving to Me. So I'm assuming this is, it's only 1 minute long, so I'm assuming this is someone who's new to this. So let's give this a listen. Yeah, I mean that sounds like a good start to a song. I guess what my only critique here, because it's incomplete, is the guitar tone. There's something about it. There's like some breakup or something, like some and I don't mean like overdrive or crunch or distortion that's intentionally there from an amp. Oh, it's almost like like there's a mic on an amp, but the mic is like over modulating or something, or like something's going awry with the guitar signal, causing it to have that like clippy sound to it. Let me just give it another quick listen here. And it's not bad here when it's just a few little notes being played more gently. Like right there, you play that chord and it's just a mush of notes. Like I can't even distinguish what the chord is. Yeah, so yeah, I'd rethink the guitar tone, the background guitar tone, like the arpeggiated stuff. That's really nice. I would take whatever that guitar tone is in the back and add a little more crunch to it and make that like your crunch lead tone, because there's something going on with that crunch tone that I just don't like. I know people like to fight about this all the time, but like I am not a fan of pulling up the input gain on DI guitar recordings too much, because it can adversely affect how the amp sounds and it can throw off the gain staging of the amp as well. So I'm not saying that you have to keep the gain at 0, but if it almost sounds like you said, oh, I'm going to crank my instrument level input to half, which is going to, it's going to give you some very noticeable like clip distortion on input on the clean signal before you hit your amp sim. But if you're doing if you're actually recording an amp, I'm not really sure what would be causing that sound. It just doesn't I'm not a big fan of the of that guitar tone. I would be more in favor of just like a clean, like a not a clean like a crunch tone, just like a typical crunch tone. Okay, let's move on to Dmitriev Offline. Let's give this a shot.
She's a ghost on my screen, got me hooked in a dream. A smile face a meme, but I stay here lost in a stream. Scrolling all night, hit the refresh. Her eyes spark in a digital mesh. She's distant, unreachable, but I crave something more than just believable. I know it's nothing, just an illusion, but in my mind it's an obsession. A name in my head, no distraction. I keep falling deeper, need a connection. She's so far away, but I'm here, living in a world where she disappears. I dream of her in pixelated light. I'm stuck online, no sleep at night. She's the wave I'm chasing in a stream, a girl I've never touched, only seen in my dreams. Comments fade, she never replies, yet I wait, I always try. She's a world I can't reach, a melody I can never teach. Silent notifications lost in my head. I'm living a life she left me on red. What if I could break through the screen, find a way to make her see me? But I know she's somewhere far away, in a place I can't make her stay. I keep thinking, I keep dreaming, but nothing changes and I'm screaming. She's so far away, but I'm here, living in a world where she disappears. I dream of her in pixelated light. I'm stuck online, no sleep at night. She's the wave I'm chasing in a stream, a girl I've never touched, only seen in my dreams. Maybe I'll stop dreaming, but her face still lives inside my mind. Offline, but I'm still seeking a love I can never find. She's the ghost on my screen, a dream I can never feel, but I'll be waiting here, trapped in this endless fear.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic track, really good mixing. The production sounds fantastic. The vocal production sounds great. The only real thing I would do is I would desaturate the vocals like just a hair. Like they just sound like they're right past the breaking point for me. But again, I'm as I've said before, I'm listening on CLA 10, so they're very mid-rangey. So maybe you listen to it on another reference speaker and they sound just fine. The bass seems a little low to me. Like when you've got these like right? You really want those bass notes to hit, especially in the choruses. If you leave the bass where it's at and like the verses, fine. But I would pull up the bass 3 dB in the choruses, just to, like, especially here when you come out of the bridge. Like I really want that impact. You know what I mean? I want to go from this kind of like lighter texture thing with less bass to full sub bass. I want to feel the bass. I'm not feeling the bass much here. Okay, let's move down to this is my wife's band. I cannot play. That's a cover anyway. I submitted this just as a test because someone asked, how do you go back? And by the way, I'll answer the question now. Someone had asked in the last week's stream how you can go back and see the feedback in the folder. All you have to do is click on the exact same link and log in, and you'll see the folder, and you'll probably just see your tracks in the folder. You won't see other people's tracks. And then you'll be able to see those comments and respond to them. So you can click on your own tracks, but you won't see other people's tracks. So that's how you can get back in here. I was just testing that out to make sure it worked there. So I uploaded one of my wife's songs. By the way, go check out my wife's band, Foxy on YouTube. Just a shout out to my wife's band. They do like classic rock covers. They did a version of Kiss's Black Diamond. They all dressed up like Kiss. It was fun. Of course, I mix and master. I mix and master every other track that they do. The husband of the guitar player is also a producer, and so he does like every other one. So I did that one. I did the Kiss one. Okay, let's check out Looks So Good by Edrek. Oh, I'm so sorry if I butcher your first name. Edraxel? No, Edrax Kendall. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I probably butchered your first name there. Looks So Good. Yeah, I mean, look, that's like a really great track. I just would love to hear some lead vocals on it, you know? I would take all of those vocal effects and I'd dial them way back. Like, I would mute them and then write a vocal for it. And then if you're going to use those vocal effects, I would only bring them in where the vocal is not singing. You know what I mean? So I'd write a vocal for this, work with a vocalist or a collaborator, or, you know, hire someone from Fiverr or hire someone from Boombox, whatever you want to do, and get a vocal on the track. Because it's mixed well, it's produced well, it's got a nice beat, it's got dynamics, it's got cool sound design. I just think the only thing it's missing is really a lead vocal, you know. I think it's mixed and produced really well. So, yeah, so, look, when it comes to Autotune, John Houlihan, lots of Autotune. Okay. So the thing is, if you don't like Autotune, don't use it. You know what I mean? I am not in the camp of, if you have to use Autotune or Melodyne, that somehow the music is worse. Like, I think some music really works well with an Autotune sound. I guess my critique with vocal tuning is usually that people are using it more as a, you know, some folks will use it as a a way to compensate for bad vocals versus like a bad recording versus like it being an effect that fits the song. You know what I mean? If I get a rock track or a heavy metal track and I hear like an auto-tuned vocal with the, you know, with it cranked all the way down so there's no pitch variation, yeah, that doesn't fit for me. But in a pop track, like the one we listened to when you made that comment, I think it fits just fine. And I think it's done in a way that's tasteful, and it's not done in a way where you're like, ooh, I hear the auto-tune being used as a Band-Aid. You know, I hear the auto-tune being used there as an effect, you know. And my what I usually say to folks who have these types of opinions, these like Rick Beato type boomer producers, is, you know, 50 years ago, people were criticized for using, well, maybe not even 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, people were criticized for using synthesizers, you know what I mean? And it's like no one is criticizing anyone for using a synthesizer. Then the 70s and 80s came, and it was like, oh, okay, these are here to stay. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, if you don't like it, don't use it. Or if it doesn't fit the genre, don't use it. If it fits the genre, use it. Generally, if I have to do corrective things because of a performance that wasn't great, I'll usually go through line by line with Melodyne, because that's the way to get the best sound, in my opinion. But I only throw Autotune or Metatune on when I need to like when I have I have a good vocal and like I just want to smooth it out by like 5%. You know, that's one of the things I really love about Metatune over Autotune, is that it has an amount knob, and you can dial in some heavy vocal tuning, but then you can pull back the amount to like 20. And then you're just kind of molding the vocal a little bit, but not to the point where you hear like obvious, like the obvious auto-tune sound. So that's my philosophy behind it. I have no problem with auto-tune at all, as long as it fits the song and fits the genre. And ultimately, if the song sounds better with it than without it. Okay, let's move to Rescue Me by Tashad. Going for a long build-up with new elements being added along the way. A pop alternative genre. All right, let's give it a listen.
Shattered pieces of my heart alight. Someone shooting out my headlights now. Got me driving in the darkness. And I don't know if I can make it, but I've been praying to God. And I don't know if I can make it out. I've never felt so lost.
Like a soldier,
And I'm afraid of getting older now. Got me looking in the mirror. And I don't know if I can make it, but I've been praying to God. And I don't know if I can make it out. I've never felt so lost. Come and rescue me. Lonely, come and rescue me. Lonely, lonely, come and rescue me. I'm lonely, I'm lost, I'm falling back. I'm lost, caught in the past. Lonely, come and rescue me. Come and rescue me.
Yeah, cool stuff, man. I would I mean the vocal production's great, the mix is great. I'd maybe let me listen back here real quick.
In the darkness, me, rescue me.
Yeah, so kind of like I said in another song, like you've got a really long build up, and you said that, going for a long build up. I don't know, man. I feel like I want to get to that boom boom 4 on the floor maybe a little bit sooner, but you know, it kind of fits the song. I'm getting like I don't know, like if you cloned Phil Collins and you know, and put him in a modern, like cloned Phil Collins from the 80s and threw him in a modern track. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. So it sounds great, don't get me wrong. The vocal production is fantastic. There's something about the long buildup that is, I don't know, it's just maybe a little too long, you know, and I know that's what you said you're going for, and you know, and I mean, even like if you look at In the Air Tonight, you know, Phil's own song, it's like it doesn't start, you know, the beat doesn't come in until 2/3 of the way through the song. So yeah, I mean, great work to Shad, as always. Let's look at the chat here real quick. Yeah, part of the problem, people are talking about the music industry and why it's so tough to kind of like cut through these days, and part of it is just that the market is oversaturated. We talked a little bit about this last week, and the fact that I can pull up my phone and I can open Apple Music and I can literally find every single song on the internet, just like that. And it's also a lot easier for people to make music, and also the sort of separation of I guess job duties in the creation of a song is much more uniform these days. Like a producer may be the person who writes the song, arranges the song, does the sound design, and does the mixing and mastering in some cases these days. You know what I mean? Versus years ago, it was like, okay, you bring on different musicians and you collaborate, you get a different mixing engineer, different mastering engineer. But of course, it's all about budget. You know, $1 goes a lot less these days than it did 20 years ago or 40, years ago. And like, when part of it too is discovery too. The way that music is discovered has changed so much in the past 20 years. Like, as I told you guys last week, I came from the MySpace generation, where we would, like, the only platform online where we would be able to just submit a track to, other than like releasing an album and hiring a distribution company to do it, would be MySpace. And that's where we would post all of our demos. We would we would create our own CDs. We would independently, we'd go to a printing shop and hire them to, what was it? Disc makers was the big one back in the day. We'd send in our designs. My drummer was a graphic designer. We would make our own art. And so, the only way you would have discovered our music back in those days is going to a club where we were playing, in the early 2000s around Southern and West Michigan. And that's the only way you would have found us. And then iTunes came along, I think in 2001, and we started putting stuff on iTunes, and that just kind of changed everything. And even iTunes initially didn't, iTunes didn't initially completely change things because for a while you had to buy each song, and now with streaming, anyone can get it. And I don't know what the fix is. I don't want to give you like a boomer opinion and be like, oh, streaming has ruined the music business, or, I would always say giant corporations ruin the music business. Corporate greed ruins the music business. So that's just my 2 cents. Okay. When you put up a song on Spotify, it gets 10,000 views, and then you get your, $50 paycheck in the mail. It's like, okay, is it really worth it? Okay, Timber Serpent, you got a couple of them here. Let's see. I think this is the guy that told me to not listen to one of them. Don't listen to this one. Okay, I'm gonna listen to the very first one. Since you uploaded 4 of them, so I'm gonna listen to "Responsible" by Timber Serpent. Give it a listen.
Run away, fast as you won't get away, never going home. Try to call out, don't do that. Got a big mouth, I can fix that, yeah. Just go along, do what I say. Don't end up that way. You tell a bit lie, inflate my ego, and I'll keep you around a while. I won't hurt you, just go along, and I blame you, you're responsible. I won't hurt you, just go along, and I blame you, you're responsible. And that chain now around your neck, better keep you in your place. Your smoke signal won't be seen, not today, never again. Just behave, don't make a sound, I keep you around. I know how to show you up, put you out, back up, that up. I won't hurt you, just go along, and I blame you, you're responsible. I won't hurt you, just go along, and I blame you, you're responsible.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have a nice voice, and and the recordings seem pretty good. I just think this is a situation where this sounds like what the song sounds like straight out of the box after you recorded it. I think it needs a lot of production work. I think, from compositionally, I think it gets a little samey throughout. I think if you add like a bridge or something somewhere here in the middle where it changes up a bit, or you change up the chord progression a bit, the chord progression does get a little repetitive as well. And the drums seem like criminally underproduced. Like I would get like a nice, like I get you're trying to go for like drums in the background. Drums are just keeping the groove, but it just sounds like do 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 ja do 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 ja do do. You know what I mean? Like the hi-hat's got to be in there keeping the groove. Something that's gonna like move the tempo forward. And like what you're starting with is fine, but like once you get into the song, especially like by the time you're to like the first chorus, I think the drums need some more forward momentum. And I think that it sounds almost unmixed. It sounds like it's only halfway mixed. I would definitely try to do a little bit more production to your voice, especially the acoustic guitar sounds a little like I always say like un-EQ'd acoustic guitar has a tendency to sound like a shoebox. It's got this boxy shoebox kind of sound to it. And you really have to take up the top end and give it some bass as well. So I think the guitars need some work. I think the bass needs to come up. I think there is a bass in there, but I can barely hear it. So definitely needs some more production, but it's a good start. You don't have bad recordings, which is the good news, and you have a nice voice as well. So just needs some more work. So if you want to resubmit it at some point, feel free to do so. Let's move on to, let's see. Yeah, submitted 3. We can't get through 3 of them, unfortunately. 4 of them. Now, these 2, I looked them up. I think this first one is actually the same track as this bottom one. It's this, the song title is similar. It's the same length, and then one of them is a deleted user. If you're just gonna drop in your track and then delete your account, which I don't know that that's what actually happened here. Maybe you had another account and you got rid of that and re-uploaded it. But don't drop a track in and then delete your account and disappear, because I probably won't listen to it then. Okay, so RB Money by Joe Lara. 427. We got a kind of a fade out at the end, so let's give this a listen.
Blessed be the Lord, my strength, that teaches my hands to war. Am I finished tonight? My goodness.
Yeah, so there's like a guitar loop or something in there. I don't know if it's real, if it's like a real recording or if it was a loop. The strumming seems off, like the rhythm of that guitar loop seems off with the rest of the track. There's some cymbal swells in there that are like happening every 2 bars or something. I would make that like just an effect that you only add like every 8 bars or every 16 bars. It's also kind of hard for me to gauge like the bigger picture of the track because there's no vocals. I don't know if this is like going to be like a rap vocal or a sung vocal based on the arrangement. I'm assuming it's going to be something that's more like a rap vocal, which would make sense if it's a little more repetitive that way. But I just think you need another section that kind of breaks up the flow a little bit. But again, I wouldn't be able to fully judge the song until I hear it with a vocal. As just an instrumental alone, seems a little repetitive to me. Again, needs another section. Need to fix up that guitar loop. And if you've got effects on there, there's like some weird like delay or some sort of effect on there. Maybe dial those back just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like get a vocal on it and re-upload it. I'd love to hear what it sounds like with the vocal. All right, let's move down to. I'm sorry, I have to keep scrolling through the list every time. I probably should just open up another tab, but this is how my mind works. I'm a very like linear thinker. Okay. Michaela, Day by Day, MTH 3.0 VOC. Let's give this a listen.
4, 3, 2, 1. I woke up and find nothing new. We always listen to the same song, and we no longer have the fire inside that burn our minds. Innovation remains in the dreams of the night, and the morning my head's blow away. Day by day, I lose my heart and my soul. Only rhythmic lines. I don't know what to think. If my heart doesn't beat, it doesn't fit, it doesn't live. Memories are not the past. In the jungle that I find, innovation remains in the dreams of the night, and the morning my head's blow away. Day by day, I lose my heart and my soul. Only front and create shields on the back. With a new the tracks we composed, we explode what we have inside.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets repetitive. Needs another section to kind of break things up a bit. The drums are like really thin sounding. It almost sounds like a drum machine playing really basic stuff in the background, and then the vocal is like way out front, like way more out front than it needs to be. I think you may also want to work on, you know, again, this is all constructive feedback. We're all coming from different backgrounds and different places around the world and different levels of different levels of skill level and where people are in their lives. Some people are complete beginners at this. Some people are professionals and been doing this for a long time. So keep that all in mind. With that said, I would say, you know, one of my critiques for folks who maybe don't speak English as their first language, and they write lyrics in English and they sing in English, is run it by an English, like a native English speaking person, because like some of the pronunciations look really weird. The phrasing is really weird for English. And then I think that something about your vocal tone is like really constricted. Like it's hard for me too, because I have a really nasally voice. And when I sing, I get the nasally aspect of my voice really comes out. You have to, if you're going to sing, you have to kind of learn to open up your throat, you know, and bring out more of the, like an open tone rather than this closed, constricted sort of vocal tone. So I'm not a big fan of the vocal in general. I would pull it way down. The drums are a bit thin sounding. It's a little repetitive. I'm not even really sure what genre I would call this. It kind of sounds like polka music a little bit with the the accordion in the background, but it doesn't have like the groove of a polka song. So not really sure. Not really sure about that one. I would go back to the mix. I'd go back to the drawing board on the mix, and I would maybe try some different vocal techniques as you're recording, and some different singing techniques to try to open up your voice a little bit. Okay. Let's go back to let's see, we were just on Day by Day. So let's check out Kalio Tracks 015 by Uno Techno Puro. Here we go. Getting faster? I mean, one of the things, you know, I'll say, and this is like straight techno. So it's, you know, it's having a long intro like that without a lot of development is not unusual. I mean, I've mixed techno tracks. I did a project with a client several years ago, probably one of the most difficult clients I've ever worked with. And some of the tracks were like 14 minutes long. Like the extended versions of them were 14 minutes long. And then like the radio version was like 5 minutes long. So it's not unusual for repetitiveness to be in techno music, but I don't know. I feel like you can get somewhere a little bit sooner. I think that intro could be cut in half. That's just my opinion. This reminds me of the and I don't mean this as a bad thing. It reminds me of the soundtrack to the Extreme G video game on Nintendo 64 back in the 90s. It reminds me a lot of that. But look, one thing I'm going to say now, definitively, we are 2 minutes in, and we've basically got a backing sound design, ambient, sort of soundscape going on in the background and kick. And we're 2 minutes in. I think you need to develop the ideas a little bit sooner. Throw something in there melodic, just something to break it up, because it's, I get it. Like the point of like this type of like techno is to just keep going with it. And, it's all about dance, it's all about like the club, playing it at the club and being able to dance to it for an extended period of time rather than it be a 3-minute, pop track. But at the same time, I think, if you're going to do something that's this long, you've got to add some more development to it, add some more layers, maybe start really simple and then start bringing in new ideas until you get to a head and then bring it back down and then bring in some new ideas. So I think it needs more development. Like a lot more needs to happen in these first 2 minutes. Cause otherwise, if someone's just listening to this, they're probably gonna, you're gonna lose them. So we're at like the 4-minute mark, and still there hasn't been much development. You know what I mean? Like it does seem like you're maybe bringing up some of the volumes a little bit to kind of bring up the tension or whatever, but it's a lot of the same. And I think 4 minutes, unless you're playing this at a club and you're just dancing to it and enjoying yourself, I think a casual listener, you're going to lose them because there's no development. It's 4 minutes and there's no melodic development. There's like a bass, but it's been playing the same note for like 4 minutes, So my suggestion at 4 minutes in is the same as my suggestion at 2 minutes in. You've got some really cool like like soundscape ideas and some cool sound design going on, but it needs to go somewhere. We need to switch sections. We need to hear a melody. We need to hear a different bass line. You know what I mean? It can still be 4 on the floor because that's the genre, but it needs to go. I think it needs to go somewhere, you know? And I'm going to stop there because it's you know, it's again, it's not a bad track. Like the ideas that you have here are good. It's just you need more, you know what I mean? You need some development. I would start at the beginning, start getting some of these ideas in sooner. Like I would condense the first 5 minutes of this track into 1 minute, then start bringing in some synth ideas, some melodic ideas, and then once that grows to a head, drop it down and then come into a new section with a new idea. And then if you want, you can come back to that first idea. So, you know, you have like an ABA type of section. And then maybe you have, because I think the genres are not correct. Because if it was trance music, you'd have like a breakdown section somewhere in here. But again, so you got like an ABA, and then you come back in with like a C section, which is like your breakdown section, your bridge, your build-up section, you know what I mean? And then you come back into the A section again. So what it sounds like to me is you've got an A section of a song here that needs to be condensed down and added to. So so it's a start, but I would keep working on it. And you know, the main thing I always try to do these days, and I try to remember that, like, you are always going to be the biggest fan of your own music, and you are always going to be the person who listens to your own music the most. And so sometimes, like, and I do it too, sometimes I'll write these like 7-minute songs, and I'll be like, I'm not getting to the point. The intro's too long. You know, I have to start looking at it from the view of someone else, you know, and I have to start adapting, adapting the arrangement to condense things. You know, I'm not saying every single song needs to be condensed down to 3 minutes, but you know, if it's 5 minutes long and there's a lot of dynamics and a lot of movement, and it always keeps your attention, then that's totally fine, you know. But if it's also conversely, if it's 6 or 7 minutes long and it never develops or changes, I think you're going to lose people. So. Okay, Rhythms of the World by Neil Gilmartin. This song is a very different vibe from the others I've submitted. It features a prominent string section. I'd be interested in getting your feedback on. It's my first time using strings in an arrangement. In general, I wonder whether the mix is too mid-high heavy, particularly in the strings, and therefore sounding a little harsh. Although I already tamed the mids, perhaps I didn't go far enough. Just an FYI, at the very beginning of the song features a trick I learned from you a long time ago. You once did a video on Quick Sampler showing how to take a loop of a record player static and make it feel like another sound by using the LFO with a random start point modulation. There's also record player static at the beginning. Okay, cool. Let's give it a listen. this main idea here, it comes in over here too, that and there's a bunch of chords, thick chords behind it. If that's the strings you're talking about, it's sort of like a synth string, right? It's not like a orchestral string. I almost would wonder what it would sound like. I still like all the little synth stuff you've got going on in the middle here, but I almost wonder if you swapped out that like synth string sound for like an orchestral string sound, even if you just use like what's the string instrument in Logic called? Is it studio strings or session strings? Whatever the string instrument's called. If you use like the big orchestral strings there, pull them a little more back in the mix. I think they're a little too hot. I think that's where that part of the mid-ranginess you're talking about is coming from. But mainly, I think that the overall track is not oversaturated in the mid-range. I think it's just the vocals that sound maybe a little oversaturated. Your vocal character is really just naturally seems like it bites through. So I would maybe tame back the 1 to 5K range a little bit in your vocals. Maybe add a little bit more bottom end for a little bit more warmth, and then maybe rethink that string idea, that synth string idea, because it's almost coming across like a bagpipe. You know what I mean? It's a little harsh. I think that's instrumentally. I think that's the only thing that's harsh. The rest of it, is not. Yeah, all that. I think I said bring it down 3 dB. Bring it down, like, if you're gonna use that sound, bring it down 6 dB. Like it's really up there to my ear. And I think, like I said, I think that's where that harshness you're talking about is coming from. Yeah, and so and if you decide to go with those big synth strings, like, that's fine. Just pull them way back in the mix. But if you use orchestral strings, I think you'll find that the other tracks are going to have an easier time cutting through. And honestly, I think the character of like orchestral strings is going to sound better than that synth string patch, just in my personal opinion. So otherwise, good work, good writing, great vocal, just a few mix tweaks. Let's move down to Trumpet Under the Moon by Studio Composer. Okay. 131, so I'm assuming this is a work in progress. Just a note, if you submit your tracks, and it's like a work in progress, it's not mixed, at least try to throw like a limiter on your stereo out and add like a little bit of gain, because it's sometimes it gets hard to hear, because I can hear people saying that they can't hear this one. So let me just see if I can add a little gain to it temporarily. There we go. Yeah, I mean, look, it's there's some really good melodic writing here. It sounds kind of like the intro to like a jazz ballad or something, you know, like a you know, like a 5-piece quintet or jazz quartet or something like that. Definitely need to develop it some more. And then, you know, with this kind of stuff, it's tough. You know, you're not going to want to release it with all MIDI instruments. You'll definitely want to find some musicians to play on it, because otherwise, you know, it's going to sound like a MIDI recording. But otherwise, just from a compositional standpoint, I'm not going to comment on the mix, because it's a sketch of an idea. I really think your melodic writing is really good. So good work there. I'd love to see this like developed out, get a drum kit in there or something, you know. But yeah, keep working on it, keep developing it. Okay, let me pull down the volume so I don't blast you guys on the next track here. Hang tight just for a second. Okay. There we go. Let's go down to L from the album The Drake Equation by Patrick Schutten. Let's give it a listen. Yeah, I mean, look, as an instrumental experimental track, I think if you just take it at face value for what it is, I think it's really good. It's very cinematic. It's very, trippy. It's very like Zen, you know what I mean? Like this is something I'd want to listen to if I'm like meditating or something. My only real criticism here is like in the intro, I think that this section gets a little too samey. I know this is from an album that's already released, so you're not going to make these changes, but if I were to make a change to it, I would insert like another small, like short section here just to change things up a bit and then come back into that idea because it gets a little samey here. That's all. I'd like to see some sort of development there, whether it's like a new melody or a new section or a new texture or something. So cool stuff. All right, let's move to it's 150. I'm gonna go until let's see where we're at real quick, just to see how many we have left to go. Project N. Okay, so this track right here from Tokyo Teens is going to be our last track of the day. I'm gonna go through all of these, but what I want to do, and I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go a little bit longer than I normally do. So we're gonna go from Project N all the way down to Final Main 16, Calling All Vampires. That's where we're gonna get to today. If you submit a track after that, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to get to it today. But what I do want to do real quick is I just want to take like a quick 2-minute break. So I will be right back, and we'll listen to the rest of these. So 2 minutes, I'll be right back. So it's 1:51. I'll be back at 1:53. Okay, I'm back. Let's take a little swig of water, and let's keep going. Okay, so next up, we have Project N from, again, I'm gonna probably butcher your name. I'm sorry, Mayan Parik. Let's give it a listen.
थारी नजरा को जादू गोरी पागल कर जावे है राता की नींद बीमारी गायब कर जावे है जयपुर को लहंगो थारो बीकानेरी चुनरी आँखा को काजल थारी घायल कर जावे है नजरा को जादू गोरी पागल कर जावे है राता की नींद बीमारी गायब कर जावे है जयपुर को लहंगो थारो बीकानेरी चुनरी आँखा को काजल थारी घायल कर जावे है चांदी की चूड़ी पहनी बाजू बंद भी सोना वालो रेशमी जुल्फा धारी क्यूट सो थारो फेस निरालो हाथा पे मेहंदी रचरी नेचर भी थारो मनड़े भावे थारा दो कातिल नैना मारा दिल पर तीर चलावे गजबड़ सो रूप बनायो नई नवेली दुल्हन लागे नागिन सी कमर लचीली चाले जदबड़ खावे है हाथा का लटका झटका यौवन की रंगत न्यारी चमके थारो चांद सुमुखड़ो मारो मन हरसावे है नजरा को जादू गोरी पागल कर जावे है राता की नींद बीमारी गायब कर जावे है जयपुर को लहंगो थारो बीकानेरी चुनरी आँखा को काजल थारी घायल कर जावे है
I really like the like filtered trumpet melody, but there's like something weird going on harmonically, like the chord that you're on is like not matching up quite right with something in that horn part there. I'm gonna listen to it again here. It almost sounds like you're using harmonic minor, but the chord isn't a chord. It's almost like you're using a lowered seventh and a raised seventh at the same time in there. I'm not really sure where that clash is happening, but there seems to be like some sort of like a clash harmonically happening right around that section.
माथा पे रखड़ी थारे काना में सोने की बाड़ी हाथ में कंगन खन के होठा पर थार गहरी लाली फूल सो चेहरो थारो मारा दिल में आग लगावे गोरी थारी अदा निराली मारा मन ने बहुत सतावे माथा की बिंदी फेस पे चर चर चांद लगावे है पैरा की पायल खन 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 के शोर मचावे है मोरनी सी चाल थारी कोयल सी मीठी बोली आईना में देख के तू खूब घनी इतरावे थारी नजरा को जादू गोरी पागल कर जावे है राता की नींद बीमारी गायब कर जावे है जयपुर को लहंगो थारो बीकानेरी चुनरी आँखा को काजल थारी
Mayan Productions.
Cool. Always good to have the watermark on there so no one steals your track. Look, the vocal recording itself sounds really good. It seems I would, again, I hate to like go back on my boomer comment earlier, but I don't know, man. I'd pull back the Autotune a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like you're a good singer. You know what I mean? So why mask it more than you need to? You know what I mean? If you want to tighten it up a little bit, I think that's fine, but I would pull back the auto-tune by like 50%, let some more of your natural vocal come through. I'd also pull your vocal down in the mix because I feel like I'm losing some of the other instruments. And then I'm almost like the kick is solid. I'm getting plenty of fundamental bass from the kick, but almost nothing from like bass. So I feel like the bass needs to come up. I think some of those background elements can come up a little bit as well. So you could just pull all that up and leave the vocal where it's at as well. And then like, yeah, look into that middle section there and see what's going on. It seems like there's like seems like you've got a minor triad, but you're using harmonic minor with a raised seventh or something there. I'm not exactly 100% sure what it is, but otherwise good work, good production overall. All right, let's go down to there we go. Yeah, so again, we're stopping here today at Tokyo Teens. So if you upload something now, it will not be listened to today, unfortunately. Let's go to. I am not even going to try to say that word. Okay, maybe I will. Stjornislettengur. I mean, it sounds like, the heavy rainstorm or the, something like that. I have no clue what that translates to, but that is a hell of a word there. By Hans Ravensfall. I mean, what a name, man. What a name. You sound like I don't know what genre this is. It says it's soft rock, but man, that is a name meant for heavy metal. Okay, this is a Christmas single I released at the start of December. Just looking for a mixing, mastering, plus musical arrangement, instrumentation, feedback. Awesome. Let's give it a listen.
Götternar herer och avbrändar brickvar Bojören blaktrar som marra och i natt Arga och hejar till blejtast och packar Och nu oss en till att täcka det grejt Jo, medan nu där en leive var falle Greinarna täska Du ligger som rätt Ormoine minna pesha jag åt Men att det görs Skulle du Finns ju gå åt Vi nåt Jag var av Käppmode jalde Och skärmen och innan tom jul Heimleis och fåglar när sova vi kärre Vantande herberg och vantande kjol I sakni ett svär så ringe härda svärar Rötten tidigt känt så långt det värar We know Jag var av grund Vi gärna änglar Och färdas till himmel
Kavar av grund vid änglar och färdas till himlas nu i natt. Kavar av grund vid änglar och färdas till himlas.
Yeah, great work. Very dynamic, great vocal. Going back to my previous comment about using auto tune and vocal tuning where needed or where it fits the genre, I think this is great. You're really going for those high notes. There's a few little spots in there. That's a normal vocal. You know what I mean? That's a really good vocal. And there's a few spots that are ever so slightly a little bit pitchy. I don't know whether to tell you to maybe fix those or just leave them be, because in a song like this, it almost lends, the vibe of the song lends to just leaving it the way it is. There were a couple ones that I would go through with Melodyne, and not even the whole vocal, just like a note here or there where I would maybe just, ever so slightly bring up the pitch on some of those vocals just to make them fit a little bit better. But overall, great singing. The backing vocals, there's these big, like almost choral like backing vocals. They're getting completely lost in mono. So maybe rethink the positioning on those to see if you can preserve them some more. One thing I've done in the past, because I've made the same mistake on releases in the past where the big group backing vocals get lost in the mix, is I've taken the entire vocal group vocal bus and I create a send, and I send it to a mono aux channel, so they all get summed to mono, or you can throw the gain plugin on there and put it in mono, and then that's like a combined signal of all of the vocals, and you put it in the mix ever so slightly, kind of like I was talking about with the third guitar in some previous videos, and you don't even necessarily hear that like mono vocal mix in the mix, but when you go to mono, you're going to hear it's going to preserve those backing vocals a little bit more because you're adding a little bit more center focus to them. That's one way to deal with it. You could also deal with it in mastering. You could also just deal with it in the mix and maybe pan things a little bit more inward. Great melodic writing. I have no clue what you're saying, but like really good melodic writing. Overall, mix-wise, I think that don't be afraid to play with the top end. I think some of these instruments are just a hair muffled sounding. So I would maybe brighten things up just a touch, not a lot. And then, let's see. Yeah, I'd pull your vocal up a dB or two as well. And then, one other last thing too is I can tell this has like been very gently mastered. I'm not going to sit here and condone cranking your limiter to like -8 LUFS or something like that, but it seems like it could use maybe a little bit more loudness, a little bit more volume, try to get it up in between like the -14, -10 LUFS range. But otherwise, great work. All minor things. Okay, let's check out, where are we at? Here we go. So Hard by Bradley Hagen, featuring Jay Stevens. This is for a sync brief, and they're asking for early 80s glam rock genre. Enjoy your channel. Thanks for all you do. Thanks. So this is a song with this is has a purpose. The song has a purpose, and so the genre is for a specific a specific purpose, like a movie or something. Sync licensing is usually for like, I know, is that mechanical licensing? Sync licensing. It's probably for like a TV commercial or like a TV show or something along those lines. Let's give it a listen.
Something in me keeps pulling me to you. Something in me just slipping away. Like a liar that's starting the truth, but you can't keep me from coming your way. Like a fire burning inside me. Like a candle burning down to the wick. Some say we should take what we want, but I'm lost, I'm sick. Can't find my way out, but I keep on dreaming. No way can slow down, but I'm breathing, breathing. Too many long goodbyes. Now it's time to go. So hard to take me away from you. Yeah, so hard from everything you do. Yeah, so hard to pull me away from you. Yeah, so hard, harder than me for you. Like an hourglass pouring the sand, like a flower wilting in the face. Treading water just to keep up with you. I'm here for the chase, reaching out for something to hold on, taking notes your every move. Little more, don't get what I needed. Too hot to refuse. Can't find my way out, but I keep on dreaming. No way can slow down, but I'm breathing, breathing. Too many long goodbyes. Now it's time to go. So hard to take me away from you. Yeah, so hard from everything you do. Yeah, so hard to pull me away from you. Yeah, so hard, harder than me for you. Too many long goodbyes. Now it's time to go. So hard to take me away from you. Yeah, so hard from everything you do. Yeah, so hard to pull me away from you. Yeah, so hard, harder than me for you. So hard to take me away from you. Yeah, so hard from everything you do. Yeah, so hard to pull me away from you. Yeah, so hard, harder than me for you.
Yeah, I mean, look, if your client is asking for an 80s glam rock, I mean, that's it. You know, you've got the sound nailed down. The production's really good. Vocals are really great. Really, the only thing I would think about is in the choruses where you've got these big, these vocal layers. I could tell there's some layers in there, but they don't seem loud enough to me. I'd like to maybe hear more of those layers, for like that big 80s group backing vocal kind of sound. And then the rhythm guitar seems a little thin to me. I would maybe beef up the bottom end a little bit, just give it a little more body. And then because of that, you're going to have to bring up the guitar solo as well to make it stand up. But otherwise, yeah, fantastic work, good production. Again, this is for a client who's asking for this specific type of sound. So, and I think you've nailed it. So awesome. Let's move on to mixed by DC. WYA YTB Crash Out. Let's give it a listen.
I'm up in the trap, start asking where I'm at. Getting fed, I don't do the respect. do. Don't want no finesse, you know. Don't want no success, so use the finesse. I'm in the trap, I'll ask where I'm at. You get your face, I don't do disrespect. Don't use her for sex, I use her for the net. Give me the drop, I pull up in the vet. Don't reach for a pin and I'm strapped with the leg. I ain't stay to blow up, put one in your head. She like me more, how I thumb through the wreck. I catch her up and no holding me back. I hit the plug up for the pack. I heard your homie die here, rat. Could've hit your main whole front or back, but I'm too big to count these racks. Slack slime, getting together, feel like Mr. Biggs put the P on whoever. Fire, I knock his head off his body. Told them bitch, put it back together. These niggas not on my level, bitch. I feel like started too hot, bitch. I don't need no recognition, I got it. Want you dead, ain't nowhere around it. What you do, I wasn't paying attention. Put the shit on, popping and giving splash, drippery. Diamonds, DC down, don't fuck with the bitch. She trying to trap, I'll ask where I'm at. You get your face, I don't do disrespect. Don't use her for sex, I use her for the net. Give me the drop, I pull up in the vet. Don't reach for a pin and I'm strapped with the leg. I ain't stay to blow up, put one in your head. She like me more, how I thumb through the rack. I catch her up and no holding me back. I hit the plug up for the pack. I heard your homie die here, rat. Could've hit your main whole front or back, but I'm too big to count these racks. Slack slime, getting together, feel like Mr. Biggs put the P on whoever. Fire, I knock his head off his body. Told them bitches put it back together. Told them bitches put it back together. I'm in the trap, they ask me where I'm at. They start asking me where I'm at. I'm in the trap.
How was that a word?
Yeah, so I think the song needs another section. It needs a bridge section. It seems like it's too soon to go to an outro. I think the vocal is way too loud in the mix. I'd pull it back a little bit. And then, you know, this is going to, again, this is another one of these situations where, like, does the auto-tune fit the genre? Yes, it does, but I still think it's too much, you know? You're kind of doing, like, a little bit of, like, a sing rap kind of thing, and that's totally fine, but I would dial back the auto-tune. I would rather, I'd like to hear what this sounds like without the auto-tune on it, you know what I mean? Or, like, you know, try to hit those notes that are in the scale, but the rest of it kind of let it be more free, I guess, like have less tuning on it. Or, you know, it's just like sometimes when the vocal glides up or glides down, it just sounds like I'm taking my finger and gliding all the way up on the chromatic scale on the keyboard, and that's because of the auto tune, you know. So, you know, it's one of those things where it fits the genre, but I think there's too much of it. I'd rather hear maybe a little bit more of your natural voice come through. The other thing too is, like, the beat, because the vocal's so hot, it's drowning out the beat. And also, like, I feel like you need a harder kick. You know what I mean? Like a harder, like a pet peeve of mine with, like, hip hop and rap tracks is, like, when you've got a nice sub, like an 808 in there that's reinforcing the bass, but there's no transient on the kick. You know what I mean? Like, an 808 without the punch, to me, it seems like counterintuitive. So I would, like, go back to the beat and maybe layer up a sample that's got more punch to it, and that'll also help solidify the beat a little bit more. So, all right, let's move on to Montañas de Fuego by Purple AQP. Your intro is way too quiet. I'm not just looking at it visually. I think that could become way up in the mix. Yeah, I mean, look, your vocal is great. It's kind of reminding me of not your vocal, but the vibe of the track in general is reminding me of like some of the more commercially, like the more commercial sounding Ed Guy tracks, if you know who Ed Guy is. Um, the the drums are like smacking me in the face, but then like the guitars are like a practice amp. You know what I mean? Like there's a good guitar tone in there, and there's a good like part in there, but I think the guitars need to come way up in the mix, and I think the guitars need to be fattened up a little bit. I don't mind the sort of filtered intro, but I think you've dropped the volume on it, and I would bring the volume back up and let the filter be the dynamic there. So bigger guitars. The bass guitar seems like there's not a lot of top end in it for like rock bass. Like when I'm hearing like do 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 do, you know what I mean? I want to feel that, even though you're not gonna like very clearly hear the transient of every note in the bass, I'd like to hear more driving force in the bass. So yeah, great vocal. Beef up those guitars like that. I think that's the number one thing. Those guitars need to come way up. The other thing too is in the choruses, you've got these backing vocals. If it were my band, I would bring in some female vocalists, or at least one female vocalist, and have them double up on the choruses just to create a big, group backing vocal. Because again, when I listen to this track, I'm thinking like, like some Ed Guy stuff that's like the more mid-tempo Ed Guy stuff. And they always have these big soaring backing vocals in the chorus, and that's kind of what I'm hearing here. Like you've got the intensity in your lead vocal, it just needs some support. So good work. Just beef up those guitars, please. All right. Without You remix demo 1 from Sam Humphreys. This is a garage track my older brother started but never finished. When borrowing my laptop, I remixed it for him. Awesome. Let's give it a listen.
Loving you. Things you made me do. Loving you. It's at the end of the night, and all I wanna do is come on close to you. But something ain't right, and I have my suspicions when it comes to you.
So, okay, going back to all my other comments about Autotune. This is auto-tuned, like really heavily, right? But I would say that I think this particular genre, it really fits. The auto-tune really fits the vocal, So it's a weird thing, It's like a weird balance of too much, too less. Does it fit the track? Does it not fit the track? Does it come across as an effect that adds and lends to the vibe of the track, or does it, is it something that's being used as a band-aid? I don't think it's being used as a band-aid here. I think it just fits the track.
All I wanna do is come on close to you. But something ain't right, and I have my suspicions when it comes to you. I know you want this to work, but you have not felt like my boo lately. And if you love me, why'd it hurt? I'm not part of this mess that you're making. With you, I was so close to loving you, and I can't believe the things you made me do. Those words, and what you said was so untrue, and in the end I'm better off without you. Went on after all the lies you spun in your way. Hope you'll be missing me instead when you're home, and you spend all your nights alone, and now I'm happy without you 'cause we're through. Close to loving you. Things you made me do. Close to loving you.
So you had this big build-up, right? You had this big, huge build-up, and it like feels like we're getting somewhere. It feels like we're getting somewhere. But then when the beat kicks in, it's like, you know what I mean? Like I need a crash or something there. You know what I mean? I would even in this little vocal transition, I would drop there's like a octave vocal layer or something going on. I'd drop that vocal layer and just have it be the vocal. And then as soon as that beat kicks in, a crash or a noise crash or some sound effect or something a little harder hitting just to, because we have to pay off that buildup. That's a minute and 17 of buildup for the intro. We've got to pay it off, you know, and it doesn't quite sound like it gets fully paid off to me.
'Cause we're through. Lost loving you. Things you made me do. Lost loving you. Things you made me do. Lost loving you.
I do like the like gritty, grimy synth bass, but I think it needs to come back in the mix a little bit. It's a little too overbearing. And I would also make, as you're like filtering it in and filtering it out, it's kind of a cool effect. I would maybe, in addition to the filter, try to, as you're automating the filter in and out, I would also try maybe adding like a stutter effect. It doesn't even have to be like it can just be like the tremolo plugin in Logic. And you just put it on like the mono tremolo and make it like a rhythmic tremolo effect. So as it's filtering in and filtering out, you're getting like more legato, and then you know what I mean? It gets more staccato as it filters in, as it filters out. Maybe it's more legato. Just another, you know, sound idea there, just to change it up, and it'll also add to the beat and the like the drive of the rhythm. So. Yeah, very effective ending too. Cool stuff. All right, let's move to Sam. We already listened to one of yours just now, so we're gonna skip your second one for now. Please, if you want to resubmit another one later, please do. Next up we have Slappin' by Cisterns Lead. Unfinished, but how's the mix? Okay, it's only 43 seconds, so it's like we got probably a song starter here. Man, this takes me back to high school. No, I think like your production's good. I like the guitar tones. It's almost giving me like you know, like late 90s, early 2000s like Korn vibes, you know. But it like in a good way, you know, in your own way, you know. I do like the guitar tone, but I'd pull up the guitars more. Let me hear that one more time. So I hear you've got some like guitar effects throughout, and you've got like delays on it. I think that's all great. I think for this particular effect right here, that right before the beat comes in, I would take the delay off of that. Just be boom, and then the track just hits. Sorry, hopefully I didn't blow anyone's ears out there. But like when the track hits, like I want the impact. You know what I mean? I want to hear that impact, and that delay that's carrying over, I think, is taking away from the impact. Let's listen to it one more time. It's a short one. Yeah, those guitars there, I want to hear those like 6 dB louder, 5-6 dB louder. So I'm just going to say here, the guitar effect right before the drop, I would take out that delay. And then overall, I would just, like mix-wise, I would say more guitar, like, 5 or 6 dB higher. Pull up the snare too, because like in this mix, the snare sounds fine, but if you pull up the guitars, that's going to bury the snares a little bit. Yeah, man, taking me right back to high school. Back in my new metal days. All right. Let's go to... we said we're going to go to Tokyo Teens. That's as far as we're going to make it. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry. Done with that. We're not going to get to BOP. We're not going to get to either. Okay, let's go to Angelica from... Shibs. Let's give it a listen.
तेरे मिलने ना मुझे तेरे जैसे इश्क दिया रसी है दिल की मर्जी है लुफ्त उठा ले जरा बेबे आस मेरी ये कुछ भी ना चाहे बस तुझको भाए सुन ले.
Okay, so just one quick thing here. Like I like your vocal a lot. Very nice, very smooth vocal. This melody here. On you're going down the minor scale. On those ends of those phrases, put a left and right backing vocal on that. So it's like a lead vocal and then and you're getting that, like, it's just changing up the vocal on the end of those melodies. I think that would be really catchy. So I don't know how to comment on that. I would just say you'll have to rewatch the video to really get it. But the end points of these minor scale phrases double up the vocal for an extra effect. Yeah, I just think when you get to the bottom of the scale, layer that up with a couple of extra vocals, pan them left and right.
बढ़ती ही जाए कुछ भी ना पाए दिला दे तू कुछ मीठा ओ मेरी प्रियतमा चल चल सिनेमा जहाँ बस तू दे प्यार का नंबर 007 से है दोस्ती मेरी AG 47 बोले सेल दिया चोरी 1337 कहते हैं सब 1 for you से थे पिघले हाँ
नूर तेरा मुझको दे रहा सुकून दिल नशी का मेरे पास अब नाशा में चाहिए तेरे मियाँ
चल चल सिनेमा जहाँ बस तू और मैं और साथ में स्वीडिश फीका खिलखिलाए और मुस्कुराए हम नवा You are my Angelica ये जिंदगी है प्यार नहीं मिलता किसी को कुछ नहीं ढूंढते हैं सब तुझको पता है मुझको फिर भी मैं खेलूंगा ये खेल एक बार फिर से की है तैयारी तेरी नजरों में नजरें डाली चल दी मैंने बाजी मेरी प्रियतमा चल चल सिनेमा जहाँ बस तू और मैं और साथ में स्वीडिश फीका खिलखिलाए और मुस्कुराए हम नवा You are my Angelica
Yeah, very cool. I really like your voice. It's very smooth. You know, just a few like little mix things like in the rap section, maybe a little more top end or maybe even a little more like mid-high range just to bring out the clarity of the words there. During the sung portions, maybe a little bit more top end as well, but not quite as much in the rapped section. The kick is coming through nice and strong. The mix is good, but the bass seems a little low to me. It's like you know, like what I'm doing, and I've said this before, is I have a button over here where I can press it. It'll take out my mains, and I just hear the sub. And if I listen for like the balance between the kick, how much kick is in the sub, and how much bass is in the sub. And if I'm only hearing the kick come through the sub, I generally will pull up the bass a little bit. If I'm not hearing the kick come through the sub at all, then I'll usually, you know, pull up the kick a little bit. So on my end, I'm not hearing a whole lot of the bass in the sub, but I'm hearing plenty of the kick. So, but yeah, definitely those minor scale phrases. Na 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 na. On those na na, definitely add some vocals to that. Or some backing vocals that is. All right, let's keep going. We only have a few more here. 1, 2, 3, 4 left. All right. And in between Redux. Oh, this is our same artist. So sorry, we're gonna have to skip this one. Resubmit it for a future stream, though. Please do. Where were we? I just lost it. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, Saturn's lead. We listened to "Slappin'" by you. Okay, let's see. How long is it? Okay. I'll let it slide. That's only a minute. Your other one was only like 40 seconds, so unfinished. Let's give it a listen. Yeah, cool riff. I mean, I like all this heavy kind of throwback metal stuff. I mean, you know, I was a metal guy before I was really a music producer. So I love all this kind of stuff. I think the kick in the intro needs to come down. Either that or kick needs to come down in the intro. Either that or like take out some of the top end in the kick. It's just coming, it's a little too forceful. Like, I get what you're trying to do. It's a little too up there. I think the guitar lead is maybe a little shrill. But that may also be intentional, just due to the genre, you know, might be intentional. So that one I'll kind of give a pass. But once the beat kicks in, it's like, I'm like, yeah, we're getting there. And then boom, the beat hits and I'm like, where'd the bass go? You know what I mean? I want to hear like a big fat bass in there. If there's bass in there, I can't really hear it. So yeah, when the beat kicks in, the bass needs way more. Unless there's no bass in there, you know, which might be because it's a work in progress. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I like it so far. You know, keep developing it, submit it in another stream. Okay, let's keep going. We only have a few more left. Where the heck were we? That's Just It by Sam. Oh, Sam, sorry. I'm sorry, Sam. You submitted 3. Please resubmit them later. Let's go to Sunny Paremba. Adz Xmus. So I'm assuming this is like a Christmas track. Let's give it a listen.
Oh, I can see it's that time of year again. The stars are bright and everything feels just right. I got my Christmas list, but I see there's someone I've missed. Well, I'm gonna add his name to it right now.
I'm gonna add my Jesus to my Christmas list. I'm gonna write a little note so I hope that he don't feel missed. Saying thanks for the love each day. What more can I say? Oh, by the way, happy birthday. Well, you know, we all love the season, and it's always good to remember the reason
Why we celebrate this day? Peace and love is the way.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday. That's why I'm adding Jesus to my Christmas list. Gonna send a little note so I hope you don't feel missed. That's why I'm adding Jesus to my Christmas list. I'm gonna write a little note so I hope you don't feel missed. You know you never fall from my mind, reminding me to be loving and kind.
To be cool and remember the golden rule.
Now that's cool.
That's why I'm adding Jesus to my Christmas list. That's why I'm adding Jesus to my Christmas list. That's why I'm adding Jesus to my Christmas list.
thank you, Lord, and a happy birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I think someone said it's like an FM synth sound. Yeah, that FM synth sound, that shimmering sound, is way too loud. It almost sounds like that's like the ride cymbal. That can come way down in the mix. I think your spoken vocal in the intro is like very strong and present, but then when the sung vocals come in, it's like too thin and kind of muffled. I would try to find a balance between those. Definitely need more top end in the vocals in general. It also sounds to me like the track is too loud, because I took a look over at my Symphony IO over here, and the outputs were like in the red, like not just like close to red, they were like pinning in the red. So it looks to me like you maybe went a little too far on the final limiter. Some of the synths are clashing in this area too. Try to work that out. And what else? Yeah, I think the vocals you need to go back to square one on production wise. You need to clean those up, make them a bit brighter, a bit a bit more body and a bit brighter, because they sound a little muffled, especially when you play them after that spoken word in the beginning. Okay, last one, and my dogs are begging me to get out of the office. The final one for today is Tokyo Teen's final main 16, Calling All Vampires. And I want to chat a little bit after this track too about doing like a New Year's stream, or like a New Year's Eve stream. So we'll talk about that after this one. Yeah, cool stuff. It's like industrial synthwave, you know. And look, you have a good voice for this genre, so like, you know, don't bury your voice in the mix. I mean, my main comment, I think, in 4 different comments is more top end to the distorted vocal so it doesn't sound buried. Lead vocal can come up here for sure. Whisper vocal up as well. Yeah, I think you can pull up your vocal in the mix across the board. And then in some of these like affected sections, like the intro and this little bridge here, maybe a little more top end so you can really understand what you're saying, but still maintain that like filtered effect. You know, it looks like the form here is like verse, instrumental, chorus, verse, instrumental, chorus, bridge, verse, instrumental, chorus. I would consider maybe cutting one of those instrumental sections and then take the verse and chorus and shift them to before the bridge, and then maybe add a third chorus after the bridge. Just a thought, you know, it's not, you know, something I'm married to, but you know, it was just a thought. You know, you're putting your bridge halfway through, but usually the bridge is like more effective, like 2/3 of the way through or something along those lines. So just think about something like that. And, you know, if it makes the flow of the lyrics completely wrong, then of course don't do it. But just a suggestion there. So cool stuff. Once again, lots of good stuff in here in our stream. Very impressed. Let's chat a little bit about next week. So this is like really going to be, let me pull up my calendar here. So New Year's Eve is next Tuesday, the 31st. And the next listening live stream will probably be January 3rd. I'm probably going to do normal 6 p.m. listening live streams on the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th. I'm going to skip the 24th, and then we'll probably do one on the 31st. This week, the week of MLK Day, is NAMM. I will be at NAMM this year, finally. So if you want to come say hi and meet me in person, I will be at NAMM. I'm going to be hanging around the Ska, that's SKAA, Truly, Dillinger Labs, and Electro Tech booth. We've got a booth there. Some of you guys may or may not know this, but I do some work for a wireless audio company called Ska. It's SKAA. I actually manage their YouTube channel, most of it. I create content for their YouTube channel as well. We've got a booth out there, so I'm going to be kind of hanging around that booth. If you're a DJ, they've got some really cool stuff you may want to come check out in the wireless world that may kind of blow your mind in terms of like live sound applications. So I will be at NAMM this year. If you want to come see me, I'll be there from like day one. We're leaving early. We're leaving on the 25th. So we'll be there from like whatever the first day is. I think it's the 21st or 22nd through the 24th. As for New Year's, here's what I'm going to do I closed my calendar. I didn't mean to do that. On New Year's Eve, on New Year's Eve, the 31st, I'm going to do another stream. It's not going to be like an overnight stream into New Year's Day, but it's just going to be a kind of a hangout stream to chat about the future of the YouTube channel and some ideas I have, and just kind of like an open forum to chat and ask questions. And I'm not exactly sure what time of day it's going to be, but like at least the day before, I'll have like the little scheduled thumbnail so you can see when it's going to be. I just want to kind of talk about, some things I want to do with the channel for 2025, some goals I have. And it won't be like too late. It'll probably be like 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. But what I'll also do is on the 31st, if I have time, and depending on how things go, I may like listen to a few more tracks, because I know we've got some folks who submitted multiple tracks. I know like back in December, the other December streams, there were some that we didn't get to. So I'll use that time to kind of catch up on some of these other ones that that I missed, and then just talk about the future of the channel and things like that. So I'll try to make it, like, we'll say around 3 p.m. Eastern time on the 31st, and I'll go for 2-3 hours, just hang out with you guys. So another successful stream, the last specifically Boombox listening stream of the year. If I don't see you guys or hear from you guys before the new year, have a wonderful New Year's. Be safe, drive safe, don't drink and drive, get an Uber, it's not worth it. Be careful. Once again, thank you everyone for stopping by and being a part of these streams. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the 31st, or I will see you after the new year. Take it easy.